So today I'm in the 2024 Hyundai Kona. It's a nice redesign of the Hyundai Kona. This is the limited all-wheel drive trim. So if you're interested on all the niceties and all the nice things that are in this specific vehicle, that's the trim level that we're reviewing today. So without further ado, let's get into the 2024 Hyundai Kona. Welcome back to techgooch, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking here before we stop and actually walk around the vehicle and everything. So real quick, this Hyundai Kona, I really like the redesign. The aesthetics on the outside, I truly like. The front with like its laser style main light source that goes across the entire, it also continues in the back. Reminds me, to be honest, of From the Earth Stood Still, Gort in his opening, or from Thor, it's the destroyer robot that they go after, you know, that comes after him or whatever. It just kind of reminds me of that, but mainly Gort, I think. But that said, really nice redesign, a lot of nice things that they brought into this. The driver information center, the infotainment does have wireless CarPlay now. So there's a lot of niceties about this. I want to get right into it and show you everything physically in hand. So let's do exactly that. Let's jump into outside of the vehicle and then inside. Okay, so here we are from the outside. We're going to start around here right on the front. And this is that front I was talking about. It does look like maybe there's an LED out right there. That said, this is that really cool front end. I really like the front end on this. Headlights are down below here with the turn signals and everything, but it just looks really cool. I'm thinking that these vents actually open up maybe at certain speeds, or like when the engine starts heating up, but because it's still cold outside, they're closed. So there is that. We do have cameras all the way across this, so we do get the 360 camera, so the bumper, underneath the mirrors and everything. But aesthetically, they did a much better job, in my opinion, with the Kona. And that kind of eye light source comes around to the backside too. So we still have our bigger lights down here, but then that continuous light, I think, just looks really cool. When we come across here, of course, it's just going to look opposite from the other side. And we're going to finish up on the other side of the front. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so you can't see this right now, but there is lights in the handles. They're doing that a lot more vehicles now. So at night when you're approaching the vehicle to open it, it actually lights up before you even get your hand in here. Kind of cool. And here we are to the actual interior. Very modern, but you can change some things. So let me just start with the doors. Standard door controls, nothing fancy here. Standard stuff here for parking, you know, light control, traction control over here on the left-hand side of the dash. Driver information clusters where you can actually do some changes. So this is the more matte, modern style that actually puts just digital gauges. Now it does, if you have speed limit, it'll actually put a little indicator here where the speed limit is, and this will fill as you're driving. So there is that. However, if we actually come to the radio real quick, let's do this real quick. Let's go to setup. We go to screen layout, cluster theme selection. Here we go. So simple, that's simple. Classic, that's classic. And of course, it's just digital. It's just a screen. So they're, you know, changing things. Now you can also change the graphic style. You can link it to your drive mode. So if you change your drive mode here, so snow, normal, sport, you know, things can automatically change. Or you can unlink it and change it yourself. Style A, style B, style C, classic, style A, B, or C, and that can just be your drive style at all times. So it's just kind of cool. I like linking it to my drive mode and then leaving it up. So I've been kind of going back between classic and simple. I kind of wish there was a blend. Like it had the classic, but it also had the digital speed, maybe up here or something like that. I would like to see a blending of it, but it's all software. So I can see them, you know, having that ability to change it if necessary, but I guess it's not really necessary. That said, cool driver information cluster, gives you all the information you need. You're kind of used to seeing it. Steering wheels is our basic Hyundai steering wheel. Our standard controls audio, volume up and down on the scroll wheel. I love scroll wheels on steering wheels. I think they're fantastic. That's my favorite way to go through. But then again, there is the simple thing of like next track is down versus up. To me, just weird, but not big deals. standard stuff you get used to. On the stick, we have our standard light controls, our standard windshield wipers and things like that. And then we have our shift by wire here. So if I hold the brake, twisted this way to go into drive, twisted to go into reverse, you can hit the parking button on the end to put it in park, and everything's just quick and easy, just simple, right? Nothing fancy, nothing new, I guess. So I know we already did a little bit here, but you know, we do have the standard Hyundai stuff that you would get on the radio, and of course we have wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. I love that everything's wireless now. I don't know why it took Hyundai so long to do it, but then again, it is now wireless. So that is fantastic to see, and it is a nice size screen. For what it is, it's very usable. It's very the touch sensitivity is fantastic. I actually really like this screen. It's about perfect for the size of vehicle that we're in here. And then we have our standard climate controls. Nothing fancy here either. I mean, we still do have our volume controls for our radio and stuff. We do have actual indicators here for buttons to go home, go into the map, and you know, the standard navigation versus your navigation that's going to be on your CarPlay. But then again, pretty basic, but simple buttons, not too many. There are a decent amount of physical buttons, as you can see. And then we have our climate controls, like I said, below that. I like it because it actually is up and down right here, rather than having an up and a down button separate. It's the small things that actually make a difference. And I do like they actually did a really good job laying this one out. We do have our push to start and stop button. Here, another change. So we have a USB-C port here that can be either connection for media or to the radio and charge, or you hit that button and now it's just a charge port, and then a separate one that's just charge port. Then we have our Qi charger right here for the phone, so that if that's being utilized, it will lighten up. So there's that. And then we do have a 12 volt 180. We can turn that on and off, or I should say open or close the door, sorry, right here. Down here is where we have our heated and ventilated seat control. So 3 settings on each of those. And then our heated steering wheel. And then our drive mode like we showed before, parking. This would be the cameras, so we can see the camera view. You know, we just hit that button and it pops up. And you can look at different spots, or we can do the 360 wraparound. Hyundai does a really good job, in my opinion, of their 360 camera, and yeah, my favorite right there. Pretty cool. So yeah, and then of course the passenger side control here. Cup holders, pretty neat thing here as well. As you can see, I have one cup holder and then one not, but if I hit that button, slams out there, it becomes a cup holder. You can turn both of these into one big open space. So if, depending on how you want to use it and depending on what you have, maybe you have a cup that's too big to go in this cup holder, well, you can open it up and, you know, give yourself plenty of room for it. Or in this case, if I want to stash my sunglasses and use the one cup holder, I can do that. Glove box, standard size glove box, love to see that. Do have a nice little open spot here for some goods, and then in here, just a real small guy, and then an open storage container below that. Up above, we do have a sunroof. We can open it here, and of course, we have a cover that we can leave it closed or leave open, our choice. Okay guys, we're gonna get in the back seat now. Now I have the front seat put back a decent amount because I have longer legs. But even then, 5'11", no problem with how much room there is in this back seat. It's fantastic. 2 more USB-C charge ports back here, just standard window control. And then cup holders for the back seat. Not too bad either, to be honest. Not crazy big at all, so depending on how big your cup is. But there's that. Just a standard light back here. Nothing fancy, but to be honest, this is not a super expensive vehicle, so more than you may anticipate for where this sits. Last but not least is the storage space in the back. It's not super huge, but it's not super small either. It's actually decent size for how big this car is. Now the only thing is, you know, this, you can remove this and get a little bit more space out of it, but there's not really a great place to store it. I mean, there is, you can store it down below, you can kind of see, but it's not as great. Do have our spare tire in here. So if you're gonna go somewhere and you're not gonna want this, you're probably gonna want to store that before you go, if you know you're gonna need the space. But just saying, pretty basic. Okay, time for the carry-on suitcase test. First, we're gonna do it with the selector piece down. See if I can actually get these in here like so. Oh, I might be able to get 4. Well, then that just tickled mine. All right. 4 full carry-on suitcases below the sheet, before the cover. So you could definitely get more because there is room behind here, but it kind of, the wheels, or at least of the carry-on size, hit this guy. So there's definitely some room back here for, right back in here, behind here, for a couple backpacks or smaller bags, and let the suitcases come all the way out. If you removed this, definitely could probably get another 1 to 2 suitcases on top of here. You're a little bit limited just because of the angle here, but that's plenty of storage. Last but not least is the engine bay here. Something I haven't done in the last video or so. Gas shocks, I like that. And there we are. This is a 1.4 liter i4 engine with an 8-speed transmission. It's, to be honest, it's a turbocharged engine, and it's got plenty of power for the small vehicle that it is. Pretty quiet, to be honest. So when I look at vehicles and review them, I look at it based at the sticker price that the vehicle's being sold at. If I was to purchase this vehicle at the sticker price, how, what do I think of it? How does it compare? Now this one right here with the all-wheel drive limited trim with all the bells and whistles sits at like $35,695. So just under $36,000. For what it is, it's actually a pretty nice car for that amount of money. It's got everything that you need. It's quiet. It's got plenty of power. Now, it has a turbocharged inline-4 with an 8-speed transmission, which has a little bit of a lag on it when you put your foot down, but it has plenty of power to want to giddy up and go. So if I slam on it, it takes a second, but then she's got plenty of power for the small little guy that this is. It looks fantastic. I gotta give them credit for making this a much better looking Kona. It wasn't that I didn't like the Kona before, but this looks more modern. I love the look of it. And then of course they brought in the niceties. It's a small feature, right? But having wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto is a killer feature because it's the smallest thing you can add that makes daily driving and daily use of this vehicle more enjoyable. So yeah, do I like this car? Yeah, I do like this car. And of course, it won't steer itself per se, but it does try to keep you in the lane. So it has that lane centering capability. It has a lot of the safety features that you would come to expect a more modern vehicle to have. And of course, there's small things that Hyundai's been doing for a long time. So you have your speedometer and you have your tachometer here in the driver information cluster. They use those 2 round little windows so that when you put your blinker on, your turn signal on, it will put the camera from that side of the car to show you any blind spot to see what you're turning into. So if there's a vehicle coming up, you're going to see it right there on the dash right away, so it's real easy so you don't accidentally run into somebody. So let's do a little giddy up. Let's do I have it in sport mode? I think I did have it in sport mode. Okay. Look, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but for what this vehicle is, where it sits in the lineup, it's quite nice. And if you've ever driven the Kona, this is, in my opinion, the best Kona to date. Now, with the i4 8-cylinder engine, fuel economy, it comes in at a combined 26, so 24, 29. So it still sits a little low, in my opinion, for where this is, but not terrible. If you're on the highway getting 29, that's definitely doable. Of course, this is all-wheel drive, and it's got all the nice things. It's got the turbocharge. You're going to want that for the power, but at the same time, it's going to eat a little more fuel because of it. So all in all, 2024 Hyundai Kona. Yes, I like it about as much as I liked the other one, the previous one I did, the 2023, right? I think I did the 2023. Yeah, I like it, and it steps up in my book. And that's always pleasant to see a car that I liked before get a little bit better. Always great to see. So thanks, Hyundai. You did a good job on this one. Keep up the good work. I would say the big thing that I would want to see this in a hybrid or something that gets a little better fuel economy. So that said, guys, thanks for watching to the end of the video. Thanks for hopefully sticking to the end of the video, and we'll catch you back here on another future video review right here on TechGooch. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon. Always fun to put your foot down.